Hi everyone, I'm Charmaine and I'm here to kick off a podcast series in honor of International Women's Day. This year's campaign theme is embracing equity. Now, equity isn't something we should only speak about, but we should think about, know, value, and embrace. It's what we should all believe in unconditionally. Equity means creating an inclusive world. And today, we have with us two special guests, Daniel C., who is our VP General Counsel APJ, and Pooja Anand, who is our Director Human Resources for India and APJ High Growth. Thanks for joining us today. Now let's start with defining some terms here so that we all understand what we are talking about. There's a common misconception that equity and equality mean the same thing and that they can be used interchangeably. Daniel, how would you define equity and equality?
Equality and equity, two words that are often very used interchangeably, but regretfully wrongly. Well, I think as far as the word equality is concerned, I think it should be better defined as a desired outcome where equal opportunities, both in whether it's corporations or society or families. On the other hand, equity, that is actually a means to an outcome. The outcome being equality and equity being an opportunity to identify the right context, resources, the opportunity to find the right tools in order to achieve the desired outcome of an equal environment for men and for women.
So to put it simply, equity is the process of getting there and equality is the goal.
Indeed.
Now coming to you, Pooja, you shared some career advice on Your Voice recently about owning your career and how a growth mindset is the key to success. I'm sure you also face some challenges as a women leader in your country or in the workplace. So looking at your own experience as you rose through the ranks, has having allies of the opposite gender helped you get where you are now?
Thank you, Charmaine. That's a fantastic question. I would like to share here that yes, in my career journey, I've had fair share of both men and women as my mentors who helped me navigate in my career journey. In particular, men who have mentored me right from my dad to my managers and so many more. They have brought such a different perspective in enhancing my career journey and adding so much value, clearly because they bring that a different perspective. They see things from a different lens. They have experienced the way you can navigate in any organization.
Pooja, it's interesting that you mentioned your dad because, I guess the first man in your life is always, they play the biggest part and the biggest role in your life. And in your view, what do you think men can do to drive awareness on gender equity?
Well, men can be great allies for gender equity. And I think in my mind, I would say there are certain ways how they can become great partners and allies in creating a more equitable world for all. Just to begin with, actively listening to women's perspective and also being an advocate for gender equitable policies in the workplace by giving the credit to women co-workers' ideas fairly and challenge sexism and speak up when you hear sexist language. Also, step up at home, take on full share of household work and childcare. That's why I want the men to take a more active role and be a more active ally in this.
Thank you, Pooja, for highlighting that. Indeed, I think what Pooja mentioned is very powerful. I think men, as an important ally, can be a very powerful messenger for those points, those preconceived notions that society has of women on behalf of women. It is very important for men to be the right advocates in order to be an effective messenger, especially in societies where there is a preconceived notion for women to take on a less important secondary positions.
Thanks, Daniel. So with this year's IWD campaign theme as Embracing Equity, what does embracing equity mean to you?
Ultimately, embracing equity is about keeping one's mind and perspectives open, the willingness to accept different perspectives, and ultimately to be able to learn from each other. It is the willingness to learn, the willingness to be inquisitive that allows one to really embrace, to accept, and to respect the different views, different perspectives, and ultimately to see things from different circumstances, to appreciate learnings from different individuals, regardless again of gender, but cognizant of different environments, different needs, and different desires.
And just to sum it up, all of us will play our part in making a difference to close this allyship gap between intention and action.
Ultimately, Pooja, embracing equity helps foster an even more inclusive world.
Well, Daniel and Pooja, thank you so much for making time to be here today. It's been a pleasure talking to both of you. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening in. We will be back with a new episode with 2 new guests. In the meantime, have a great week.
Thank you, Shami.
Thank you.